All right, so let's set the stage properly, because context is everything here. I dropped a video late yesterday afternoon breaking the news that Caitlin Clark is officially among a number of participants headed to the senior training camp for Team USA in December. Now, if you are a rational person, you would assume, logically, that after the absolute public relations disaster of leaving her off the Olympic team in 2024, USA Basketball would have learned its lesson. You would think they'd be rolling out the red carpet, firing up the confetti cannons, and making sure every single person on planet Earth knew she was coming. Remember, this wasn't just fans complaining in comment sections. The fallout from the Olympic snub was massive. The guy running the 2028 Olympics came out publicly and said he thought leaving her off was a terrible idea from a business and growth standpoint. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, the man who understands the business of basketball better than anyone, subtly hinted that this was a massive missed opportunity to grow women's sports globally. NBC executives were reportedly furious behind the scenes because they knew Caitlin Clark on that roster meant shattering viewership records. We aren't talking about just good ratings, we are talking about numbers that would rival the original Dream Team era. Instead, they left her home to protect egos, and viewership for the women's team dropped compared to previous years. They chose to treat Caitlin Clark like she was radioactive instead of embracing the golden goose that fell into their laps. So, fast forward to this morning. I wake up, grab my coffee, check my feed, and I see this graphic from USA Basketball announcing the camp, and my jaw hits the floor. Christine Brennan, the legendary sports journalist who literally wrote the book on Caitlin Clark. Seriously, it's a fantastic book. Go buy it if you want to understand the phenomenon. She was the first one to point this out, and she is absolutely right to call it out. The graphic features Kalia Copper, Kelsey Plum, and I'm guessing Chelsea Gray? Honestly, I follow this sport for a living. I cover it daily, and even I had to squint to make sure. But do you know who is conspicuously missing from the promotional material? The most famous female athlete on the planet. The woman who sells out arenas in minutes. The woman who drives TV ratings up by 300%. The woman who is the literal reason we're even having this conversation right now. Caitlin Clark. This is fascinating in the worst possible way. If USA Basketball truly wanted to maximize this moment, to bring in new fans, to capitalize on the momentum, they would have put one face on that graphic. Just one. Caitlin Clark. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. She is the only player who matters right now in terms of marketing. At some point, women's basketball has to stop worrying about hurting people's feelings and start worrying about the bottom line. Do you want to grow the game, or do you want to protect the hierarchy? You put Plum on there? Fine. You put Copper on there? Okay. But leaving Clark off is like the NBA promoting the 1992 Dream Team and leaving Michael Jordan off the poster because they didn't want to upset Christian Laettner. It's insanity. It defies all logic of sports marketing. When you have a unicorn, you show the unicorn. You don't hide it in the stable and put a picture of a regular horse on the flyer. Let's not forget why ratings were down during the Paris Olympics. A huge chunk of the audience, myself included, boycotted the games because of the snub. That was a massive story on this channel. We saw the comments, we saw the engagement. People tuned out. They said, if you don't respect the player we want to see, we won't respect your product. And now, with this training camp, they have a golden chance to win those people back. They have a chance to say, hey, we heard you, she's here, come watch. Instead, they release a graphic that feels like a deliberate slap in the face to the fans who only care because of Caitlin. It feels like they're saying, yeah, she's here, but she's just another player to us. Christine Brennan's post about this got over 250,000 views almost instantly. The official USA Basketball post? It's getting ratioed into oblivion. The comments are brutal, and rightly so. Where is Caitlin? Why are you hiding your biggest star? This is why nobody watches until she plays. It's a PR nightmare that was completely, 100% avoidable. All they had to do was put her picture on the tweet. That's it. I've been covering sports and national governing bodies for over 40 years. Their mission is supposed to be winning medals and growing the sport. USA Basketball failed at the second part in 2024, and this graphic suggests they haven't learned a single thing. They are still fighting the Caitlin Clark motion with everything they have. It's like they're allergic to success if it comes from her. Why is this happening? We have to ask the hard questions. It feels personal. It feels ideological. We have talked about the agenda on this channel before. Caitlin Clark doesn't check certain boxes that the WNBA and its old guard seem to prioritize. She's not part of their clique. She's not outspoken about the same political issues they constantly push. She just hoops, thanks God, and goes home to her family. And apparently, that makes her unmarketable to the people running the show, even though the data proves she is the most marketable athlete they have ever had. One commenter nailed it, and I want to read this because it speaks for a lot of people. This shows that the WNBA internally and from the top down still can't stand the fact that the only star and reason that people watch the WNBA is Caitlin Clark. None of these angry, spiteful, resentful activists are relatable to the general public. It's harsh, but when you look at the numbers, when you look at the disconnect between the league and the fans, it's hard to argue against it. The fans want basketball. The league seems to want something else. People criticizing this move aren't just fanboys or stans. They're looking at it from a business perspective. Caitlin Clark is a global brand. She transcends the sport. People in Europe, in Asia, in South America, they know who she is. They might not know who Chelsea Gray is, and that's no disrespect to Chelsea's game. She's a great player, but it's a cold, hard fact of marketing. You don't hide your global superstar. You put her front and center. You put her on the billboard in Times Square. You don't bury her in a press release.
When the Fever games without Caitlin dropped 50% in viewership, that should have been the wake-up call. When opposing teams moved games to bigger arenas just to accommodate her fans, that should have been the sign. When merchandise sales went through the roof solely because of her jersey, that should have been the proof. But here we are, staring at a poster that looks like it was designed to appease the locker room rather than sell tickets. It looks like a participation trophy graphic, where everyone gets equal shine regardless of their actual impact on the sport's popularity. Looking ahead to this camp in Durham, North Carolina, December 12th through 14th, the pressure is on. If they don't put Caitlin Clark on the final roster for the next cycle, the world is going to explode. It would confirm that nothing has changed, that the jealousy and pettiness are more important to these people than the success of the league. It would prove that they would rather rule over a small kingdom than serve in a large empire built by someone else. We have seen the interviews. We see the new coaches, the former players, smiling through their teeth while clearly resenting her success. You can see it in their eyes, you can hear it in the tone of their voice. They say the right things, but the actions don't match. It is not a good recipe for the future. It breeds toxicity and alienates the very fan base they're trying to attract. Think about the opportunity cost here. If USA Basketball had leaned into this, if they had put Caitlin on every poster, every promo, every commercial, they could be selling out training camp practices. They could have streaming deals for practice scrimmages. People would pay to watch her tie her shoes right now. But instead, they choose obscurity. They choose to keep the circle small. There is a double standard at play here that is impossible to ignore. If Angel Reese was generating these numbers, if she was the one selling out arenas, do you think she would be left off the poster? I doubt it. And that's not a knock on Angel. She's a great marketer of herself, but it highlights the weird resistance the establishment has to Caitlin. Is it because she's white? Is it because she's straight? Is it because she's from Iowa? Who knows? But the optics are terrible. We saw what happened with the Olympic team. They won gold, sure. They barely beat France by 1 point. 1 point! And nobody watched. Nobody cared. The ratings were a disaster compared to what they could have been. That gold medal felt hollow to a lot of sports fans because the best player wasn't there. It felt like an exhibition game rather than a gathering of the absolute best. And now, they are risking doing it all over again. Let's talk about the fairness argument for a second. People will say, oh, well, the other players deserve shine too. They've been there longer. They paid their dues. That is a loser's mentality. In professional sports, you don't get shine because you waited in line. You get shine because you bring the heat. You get shine because you put butts in seats. Michael Jordan didn't share the poster with the 12th man on the bench just to be fair. Tiger Woods didn't share the cover of the golf video game with the guy ranked 50th in the world. Stars drive the league. Stars pay the salaries, stars make the whole ecosystem viable. By trying to make everyone equal, USA Basketball is diminishing the value of their biggest asset. The WNBA and USA Basketball need to understand that this isn't a charity. It's an entertainment business. And right now, Caitlin Clark is the most entertaining thing they have. She is the only thing keeping the league in the national conversation during the offseason. Without her, we are talking about, what, coaching changes? Expansion drafts? Those are niche topics. Caitlin is mainstream news. I remember during the Olympics, I refused to watch a solitary second of the women's basketball tournament. Not 1 second. And I know thousands of you did the same. We stood on principle. We said if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. The prize was low ratings and irrelevance. And it looks like they're lining up for round 2. The one thing I did cover during the Olympics was the fact that they put Diana Taurasi's dinosaur self on that team. She ended up racking up DNPs, did not play. She was there as a mascot, a legacy pick, taking up a roster spot that could have gone to the future of the sport. It was embarrassing. It showed that the program values seniority over ability and growth. And seeing Kelsey Plum on this new poster just reminds me of that same old guard mentality.
Why is Plum on this poster? Seriously, what has she done lately that warrants her being the face of the program over Caitlin Clark? Nothing. She's a fine player, but she isn't moving the needle. She isn't changing the culture. She isn't bringing in new eyes. It feels like they just picked names out of a hat, or worse, picked the names that wouldn't cause drama in the group chat. A lot of people criticize these takes, saying we don't understand the team dynamic, but we understand the business dynamic perfectly. You don't build a dynasty by alienating your customers. You build it by giving them what they want, and the customers have spoken loud and clear. We want Caitlin. Leaving the picture of the most popular female athlete in the planet off the marketing material is an interesting choice, to say the least. At least women's basketball is consistent in its incompetence. They consistently choose the path of most resistance. They consistently choose to fight the tide rather than ride the wave. Nothing says WNBA like a poster featuring players the general public couldn't pick out of a lineup. I guarantee you, if you walked into a sports bar and showed that poster to 100 people, 95 of them wouldn't know who those women are. But show them a picture of Caitlin Clark? Everyone knows. My grandmother knows. My neighbor knows. That is the difference. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. We are watching an organization actively sabotage its own growth in real time. It's like watching someone trying to run a marathon with their shoelaces tied together. They might stumble across the finish line, but it's going to be ugly, and they aren't going to win. This was an easy slam dunk, folks. An alley-oop with no defenders. The ball was sitting on the rim, waiting to be tapped in, and USA Basketball managed to bounce it off the backboard and hit themselves in the face. It takes a special kind of talent to mess this up, but they found a way. If you have watched the interviews over the last 9 months, you know the vibe. You can see that the former players, the people selected to be coaches, they smile and they say the right PR lines, but deep down, there is a jealousy. There is a resentment of Caitlin's skills, her record-shattering performances, and her economic success. They see her getting the private jets, the Nike deals, the fame, and they think, why not me? Instead of thinking, thank God she's here to lift us all up. It is not a good recipe going forward. I hope to God they aren't idiots enough to leave her off the finalized roster. If that happens, if she goes to this camp and doesn't make the cut again, the backlash from the Olympic snub will look like a gentle breeze compared to the hurricane that will follow. The internet will break, the fans will revolt, and the WNBA might never recover the momentum it lost. This isn't just about a poster. It's about a mindset. It's about a culture within the sport that values conformity over greatness. It values wait your turn over take what's yours. And until that culture changes, until they realize that Caitlin Clark is the tide that lifts all boats, they are going to continue to struggle.
So we will be watching. We will be covering this camp in Durham. We will be looking for every snippet of news, every leak, every video. We want to see how they treat her. We want to see if they give her the keys to the offense or if they make her stand in the corner. We want to see if the other players embrace her
or freeze her out. Because make no mistake, the world is watching. Caitlin Clark has brought a spotlight to this sport that it has never seen before. And under that bright light, all the flaws, all the pettiness, all the incompetence is being revealed for everyone to see. You can't hide in the shadows anymore. God bless America. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Are they doing this on purpose? Is it incompetence or malice? Do they really think Kelsey Plum is a better marketing face than Caitlin Clark? I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think she makes the team this time? Or are we setting up for another disappointment? Peace. I'm out. Until next time, thanks for watching Black and White Sports. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, because the news cycle on this topic is moving fast and you don't want to be left behind. Be sure to tune in next time for more no-holds-barred truth.